Vision plays an important role. It answers the question of where we're going, and as the term vision suggests, it creates a picture of what it will look like when we get there. Now, we could stop there and have a useful working definition of vision, but we need vision to work a little bit harder. We need vision to answer the question of why we are going there. Vision should evoke a spiritual, emotional, almost physical reaction that justifies going there. Vision needs to contain a promise of a better future. People will often challenge me, are a dream and a vision not simply interchangeable words? After all, they're just pictures. My response might be overly poetic, but I want you to consider this quote. Vision is where the wild and tangled yarns of dreams are straightened and spooled into a single reel of thread, ready to weave into the fabric of our lives. Yes, it sounds cheesy, but our dreams are like tangled yarns. They don't always necessarily connect the dots. Articulating a vision is a way of teasing out these tangled yarns so that somebody who isn't in our head can understand them and take action on them. Another great quote is from Mark Twain, the author of classics like Huckleberry Finn. He said, "I can tell anyone how to get what they want out of life. I just can't find anyone who can tell me what they want." And I think he hits absolutely on the challenge of every dreamer, is to get that dream out of their head and into the real world. Every one of you has a brilliant dream within you, but many will know the stress and frustration of not being able to articulate that dream and get that brilliance out. I have a friend and colleague who bubbles with ideas. Every time I talk to him, he's talking about something new, it appears. But therein lies his challenge. He's not entirely consistent on the way he bubbles with these ideas, and each time people think he's talking about something new. They become confused, they disconnect, and his brilliance is lost. So here's how we're going to overcome this barrier to articulation. We're going to create an approach to articulating vision with consistency, and it is ultra simple. You need just two components: a place and an end state. The place where this vision is going to happen and what it will look like when it's done. If you've never taken this approach to articulating vision before, it might take a couple of attempts to crack it, but by articulating it consistently, your message will communicate to far more people and your brilliance will be released. So, if we're setting vision, how do you choose a place? Well, it might be obvious. Some people set their vision in a physical place, their town, city, country, or maybe they're ambitious and they set their vision for the world. But there are other variations which work equally as well. You might define your place as a group of people, a community, an organisation, or even a family. And some people are slightly more abstract still, and they set place as a time, a future when, a time when. And that's quite valid, but it poses some risks that we'll discuss in the ebook. Defining your end state can be a lot trickier than it sounds. When I'm coaching or delivering face-to-face training, there is often a lot of back and forth as people test their ideas. The principal pitfall in defining your end state is to embed action into your vision. So this would be the difference between a vision of a city where everyone is fed and a vision of a city where we are feeding everyone. By putting actions into the vision, you do several things. Firstly, you limit your own options for achieving the vision by embedding one single activity. Second, you can limit the collaborators that are willing to work with you because the activity is part of the vision. And thirdly, you set yourself up for burnout. We'll look at these things in more depth in the ebook. We believe at the Dream Clinic that everyone has a world-changing vision within them. Now that world might be the literal world, or it might be the world within a family, or between a husband and wife, or perhaps a neighborhood or community group. However you define your world, have a vision for it. The question of who does vision here is not who should have a vision, but who should be the custodian and steward of a specific vision. And for me, that always comes down to it should be an individual or a small group of people who are responsible for nurturing and developing that vision. It doesn't mean they get to ignore the people around them. In fact, it gives them a heightened responsibility to discern the vision, clarify it, and clearly articulate it. When I first scripted this video, this section didn't appear, the importance of the question why. But whenever I deliver training, there is always somebody who comes up to me after and says, I don't feel I have a vision, or vision isn't for me. And I wanted to address that because I always have the same answer, and it's one word, but one word that I repeat: why. I'd like to tell you a little story about a young lady who came up to me after a course, and I'd known her for some time. And she said to me, I don't have a vision. And I said, oh, okay, why? She's like, well, I just want to support other people. Oh, okay, well, why? Well, I don't want to think of anyone not being able to achieve their vision because they weren't supported. Well, why? Well, because I just have this idea of a world where nobody fails to achieve their full potential. I said, oh, that sounds like a vision to me. Quite often I feel we're one why away from our vision. So the power of why is important when you articulate your vision.